Essential. Memberships and court rentals are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
Get ready for summer. It's the Memorial Day sale through June 2nd at Splash City. Create your summer retreat in your backyard with a hot tub or a swim spa, or heat up with an infrared sauna for as little as $99 a month from the leading brands in the market. Jacuzzi, American Whirlpool, or Sundance. Get 0% financing and save up to $5,000 in factory rebates. Enjoy the summer ahead and save during the Memorial Day sale through June 2nd at the area's #1 summer fun spot, Splash City. Sioux Falls, Sioux City, and Rapid City.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, your finances, your insurance, your life? This is State Farm Agent Matt McCormick. Let me help you simplify and get to a better state. With me handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. Even more money, too. Because adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40%. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and get to a better state with State Farm. 348-0464.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker, Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work, and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Their Western Conference Final Series tonight in Oklahoma City. Tip-off 8:30 Eastern Time for Game 1. The NBA's all-rookie team led by Rookie of the Year, Stephon Castle of the San Antonio Spurs. He was the only unanimous selection to the rookie team. Zach Edey and Jalen Wells of the Grizzlies made first-team honors. First overall pick from last year's draft, Hawks guard Zachary Rizache on the first team, as was Wizards forward Alex Sarr. On the ice, Eastern Conference Finals Game 1 in Raleigh. Hurricanes and Panthers will skate face-off 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Kurt Busch is going to be enshrined into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in the class of 2026. NFL owners today passed a rule that will allow their players to play flag football in the 2028 Summer Olympics. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell told CNBC the league will probably go to 16 international games within the next 5 years, and the Bears gave guard Joe Thuney a 2-year contract extension. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, good Tuesday afternoon to you. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show back and live on Fox Sports Radio. Hope you've had a nice day, really. I mean, I don't just say that. I hope you've had a good day. Thanks for checking in. The Nate Brown Show off and running on this Tuesday. We'll get after it tonight. South Dakota, National, all the good stuff. Let's get going. It's always a great day in South Dakota. We know that. And South Dakota Sports Talk Show streaming live on Twitter right now, formerly known as Twitter, formerly, it's X, Twitter, whatever, at Nate Brown Show. You've got us at Nate Brown Show. Follow the show if you haven't, and then you can watch us live on your phone. It's easy to do. We see people checking in across the state, so that's good stuff. At Nate Brown Show. Follow us, watch us live. And also on YouTube right now, The Nate Brown Show. We are on YouTube, ready to go. Tuesday show, I said we're going to cover national, local, and South Dakota. Let's do it. Chris Hine's going to join us from Oklahoma City. We got a live report from the Timberwolves beat writer. He's been on the beat for 7 years for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. Chris Hine live from OKC, Game 1, Western Conference Finals. We get a preview from Chris Hine. We're going to get him right before he goes to the OKC head coach presser. So it's good stuff tonight. Chris Hine's coming up. Star-Tribune, Timberwolves beat writer. We'll go to Mike Henriksen tonight, long-time South Dakota sports broadcaster. He is in talking South Dakota sports. Mike Henriksen on tap tonight. Mike Golic Jr. Yes, we go from Mike Henriksen to Mike Golic Jr. tonight. TNT college sports analyst Mike Golic Jr. on tap. There's a headline out of college football today, which I I'm going to throw out there, it seems interesting to me, and I just wonder how all of a sudden this comes to fruition when people have talked about this for years, that college football needs this, and then they just yeah, I think we're going to do this. Mike Golic Jr. is on tap, TNT college football analyst, and Brandon Colpitts is in tonight. He is at Rapid City Central. I know Coach Colpitts has done an outstanding job trying to get that program just off the ground. It's been a struggle, 29-game losing streak, and he snapped that. Just trying to get more kids out, more kids excited for Rapid City Central football, and now Coach Colpitts is going to take a new professional opportunity in his life, and he's going to have to step down as head coach. He's going to be a volunteer assistant for the Cobblers. Let's talk to Coach Colpitts tonight about what he's done the last couple of years and where he sees Rapid City Central football going. He is on tap. I think he's done a good job. So we'll cover everything from high school to the pros tonight. Let's get you on if you want. 605-720-1067 is the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. 605-720-1067. Call the show there. Barron's Wilson text line open as well. 605-720-1067. That's the way we get your text on the Barron's Wilson text line. Same number. If you can't call, you can text 605-720-1067. A lot to discuss tonight. A lot of ways we could start tonight. We got Wolves, OKC game one. I'm juiced for that. I'm ready for that. I'm dialed in on that. 7:30 Central, 6:30 Mountain. So I'll be in on that. We'll go to Chris Hine coming up about 15 minutes. So we could go there. There's NFL stuff getting thrown around. We'll get to that. But I got to tell you, I'm going to find out just how popular this event is. And I've made it a promise here on the Nate Brown Show that our great producer, Matt Kearney, is going to get his day to shine. He is the biggest IndyCar fan I know. Now I don't know very many of them, I have to admit, but he's the biggest IndyCar fan I know in South Dakota. And so I told Matt Kearney, I said, I'm going to see just how big the Indy 500 really is. So let's go through this and see if this is the real racing event that people would want to attend in person, because not only is Matt Kearney telling me this, he's been a passionate fan ever since he got this Christmas present years ago. He got tickets to the Indy 500. He went, and he said he's been hooked ever since in IndyCar. And so I said, I just haven't been able to do it. I haven't been able to get plugged in. I haven't been a racing fan, whether it's NASCAR or Indy or F1. I got a listener here on the Nate Brown Show that's an F1 fan. He texts all the time about F1. I like the guy. You're a great guy. I'm clueless. I am just out to lunch. I just don't get it. But I was told yesterday by our guest from Indianapolis, Scott Agnes, who covers the Fever and Caitlin Clark and the Pacers. He said, you wouldn't believe it. It's a spectacle. It's one of the best events. It's a top 3 event to attend in person. He said, top 3 event in sports to attend in person. That's what Scott Agnes told me yesterday. Matt Kearney's been trying to tell me that. So let's do that. This weekend, it is the Indy 500. It's just in case you don't know, it's a Memorial Day weekend. You got the Indy 500. You got some storylines. There's this guy, Newgarden's trying to win 3 straight times. So there's some storylines. And the Indianapolis 500 sold out now for the first time since 2016. The entire place, 350,000 people. 350K going to be in one place. So you got to tell me, is this the iconic racing event in all of sports? I'm just talking racing. Scott Agnes told me yesterday that it's a top 3 event of all time. I'm not going to go there because I got Super Bowl. I got some big things there for me. Final Four. That's just me. I got that stuff. But when it comes to iconic races, where do you put the Indy 500? You guys tell me. I don't know if there's going to be as much passion here. I understand Matt Kearney's trying to bring the passion. I appreciate folks that are passionate about something that say, this is the event you can't miss. I'm trying to see if I need to actually check in on this. Not just 5 minutes on Sunday. Do I actually need, for the first time, I have to tell you, I'm going to admit it right here. I don't think I've watched more than 15 minutes of an Indy 500. I don't think I've watched more than 15 minutes. There's various reasons. Memorial Day, we're popping around. We're doing stuff normally. So I'm not settled in on a Sunday watching that thing. But I got to tell you, I don't think I've watched 15 minutes of the Indy 500. Am I missing one of the most iconic sports events, one of the most iconic races? Am I missing out on this scenario? 350,000 people have bought tickets for this thing for Sunday in Indianapolis. So let me ask this question of the day. I promised Matt Kearney we would do this. He said this might be your first Indy 500 segment on the Nate Brown Show in history. And it might be my last, Matt. I'm not sure, but which iconic racing event would be the most fun to attend in person? That's the way I want to go here, because I do have to tell you, watching on TV is not the same. It's NHL playoffs, not the same. Major League Baseball, not even close to the same. So there are sports where when you're at the event, it's at another level. I could go to a Major League ballpark, you go to Target Field, you go to Coors Field, you go to Wrigley Field, where I've been to these, just outstanding. You're just chilling, you're watching the game, you're having a hot dog, you're listening to your kids whine. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing. And you do go to the events, it makes a huge difference. So I'm not telling you everybody's just got to be locked in Sunday, but do I have to watch to check this out more than 15 minutes? I'm going to tell you, I haven't done it in my life. I think it might be this year, just to see, before I get too old man yelling at the clouds, do I need to watch the Indy 500 and catch what Matt Kearney is selling? Which iconic racing event would be the most fun to attend in person? So I'm going to throw out some racing events. The Great American Race. What is it? Daytona 500. Now, I got to tell you, I haven't been a NASCAR guy, but there's a lot of NASCAR fans. I've seen all you guys. I've seen NASCAR fans in South Dakota. There's NASCAR fans. I've told people have said, hey, I want to hear NASCAR on the radio and stuff. And I mean, there's NASCAR fans. Is Daytona 500 up there with this? That's NASCAR, one of the big premier events. Maybe it used to be a little better than it is now, but Daytona 500, I'll throw that in. I'm going to throw in the Kentucky Derby. We just got done with the Kentucky Derby a few weeks ago. We just had the Preakness. But the Kentucky Derby's an all-time. You're going to talk about all-day affair, people just loopy. I mean, what a crowd. But I like horse racing, so I'm on this edge tonight thinking about iconic races as we have this week. I'm like, would I go to the Kentucky Derby over the Indy 500? Would I talk myself? If somebody walked into the studio today and said, here you go, you got to experience this, your free ticket, here's a free ticket, which one am I going to choose, the Indy 500 or the Kentucky Derby? The Daytona 500 for me is out, so that would be not on my list. What about the Tour de France? Tour de France. Would you watch that? The cyclists in the French countryside and mountains. Would you want to watch that? I don't think I could watch that. I mean, you're sitting there on the road. They go by. Is that the end of the day? I don't know how there's so many spectators on the streets of the Tour de France. They just go by. That's an iconic race, but spectators, I don't get that one. Listener reaction coming in here. It says, how about the Iditarod? The Iditarod. Well, if I was going to be cold and stand around, I'd just stay in South Dakota in the winter. But anyway. No, I mean, the Iditarod's interesting. That's probably not an easy one to watch. Listener text, F1. See, there it is. F1 at Monaco. F1 at Monaco making an appearance. Okay, let's see here. I got three options in my poll. Iconic racing event. Which is the most fun to attend in person, do you believe? Which would be your choice? You tell me. 605-720-1067. Barron's Wilson text line of the Nate Brown Show. Question of the day. It's the Matt Kearney special. He's an Indy 500 fan. I'm trying to see if I need to become that on Sunday. I'm trying to see if I need to get plugged in on Sunday. Most iconic racing event to attend in person. Thanks for getting on. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, how you doing? My name's Tom Savage. I used to be the director of public relations for the Indy 500.
Whoa! Whoa!
I live in Sioux Falls. But I held that job for 5 years. And I'm telling you, if that's in the top 3 sporting events that you have to see, sporting events, not racing events, I'd like to know what the other 2 are. There is nothing like the start of the Indianapolis 500. If you haven't seen it, you got to go.
Okay, I was told yesterday Super Bowl and Masters Sunday. That's what I was told. But you're telling me the Indy 500 takes those 2 things out.
Without question. Now, I've been to a Super Bowl. I've never been to the Masters, so I can't. But I will say, I tell you what, on Sunday, watch the hour leading up to the race on NBC.
Okay.
So an hour before the race, there's so much history and pomp and circumstance. It'll put a lump in your throat just leading up to the race. And then the first 10 laps, you're on the edge of your seat. And then I get it. It's 200 laps. You may lose it. But the final 10 laps are... they're breathtaking. But the leading up to it and the start of the race when those 33 cars come flying down the front stretch, there is nothing like it.
Tom, I appreciate you getting on. Great perspective. Thanks for calling.
Yep, very good.
I appreciate it. Now, that's good stuff. Yeah, see, who would have thought that? Which iconic racing event's the most fun to attend in person is our question of the day. By the way, people are answering on this. It's a runaway. I thought the Indy 500 would get some love. It's Indy 500 week. 64% of the people on my Twitter poll, take it for what it's worth, Kentucky Derby they want to attend. The Kentucky Derby. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. What's happening?
Hey, not too much. Just raining and snowing up in Lead for the last 2 days. But anyway, so iconic races, right? It's the pageantry and everything that goes along with it. I can see why people would love the Kentucky Derby.
You do? Okay.
And this is probably an unpopular take, but IndyCar racing is like the little leagues of F1. And you can't get people to go watch like G League basketball because there's NBA players, and everybody wants to watch the NBA. Everybody wants to watch the NFL. Like, you want to watch the peak of whatever sport you're watching.
Whoa.
And Indy cars are maybe the go-karts of F1. So that's my hot take for what it's worth.
Boy, you really plugged me in on that. You sound like an elite F1. You sound like an elite F1 viewer.
Well, I don't know about elite, but like I want to see the fastest cars go the fastest around the coolest places, and like I'm the one that's in the Monaco Grand Prix. Like, that is the coolest place. Like they shut down the entire city, and the city is a country, right? So like they shut down the entire country and drive cars around, and like they go through the tunnels, and you can just put Formula One engines going through those tunnels. It's amazing.
Did you go to Las Vegas when they came here?
No, that was a nightmare.
Okay, all right, man.
They need a little practice on that.
I got you.
Like Miami is starting to do it. Like it's breaking into the U.S., but
I had a buddy who did. I had a buddy who did go to that. A buddy who did go to Las Vegas, and he did say it was kind of a mess, but kind of he checked it out once. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. Thanks for getting on.
Have a good night, bud.
All right. So F1, he said F1, Indy cars, the go-karts of the F1 cars. I think Matt Kearney just went crazy just now. I think he was ready to fight. He stood up. He was ready to rock and roll. Easy. Let's see. Listener text, F1 is Snorville. Listener text, I think the Coke 600 would be the most interesting for being the longest race. The Coke 600. Kentucky Derby, nothing like live horse racing. Another one, Kentucky Derby, live horse racing is awesome. Another one, Kentucky Derby, I don't follow the F1. Another one, number 1 is Daytona 500. Number 2 is Indy 500. Number 3 is Kentucky Derby. Boy, we're all over the map on this. Well, that was interesting. Daytona, number 1. Indy, number 2. And then he went Kentucky Derby. Listener text, Tour de France, hands down. But see, I mean, you tell me, how do I watch the Tour de France? I mean, I go over there and get my cheese and wine and stuff, and I mean, I love, charcuterie boards as much as anybody, but how do I watch it? The cyclists go by, and then that's it? Is that it? I don't know. Do I travel around? Maybe you travel around, you go to the stops, and I don't know. That's an interesting one. Tour de France, though, hands down. Listener text, Indy cars go by too fast. I enjoy watching the NASCAR racing. Much easier to watch. Much easier to watch. Listener text, Brickyard NASCAR race. Man, we're getting a lot. Most iconic races. Is there any better races than the Daytona 500, though? I mean, the Brickyard and the Coke 600 and stuff. I mean, isn't it Daytona? The Great American Race, the start of the thing? I mean, isn't that the one? Indy 500 is the greatest spectacle in racing. Matt Kearney said this is the number 1 event to go to. I got to say, though, Kentucky Derby's taking my poll, at least on Twitter right now. 64% of you say I would want to go to the Kentucky Derby live. Any Kentucky Derby people that have gone? I had another buddy who went to the Kentucky Derby. He went to the Kentucky Derby, said it was outstanding. Said it was just great. So I'm a live horse racing fan. I've been to Del Mar and San Diego 3 times. I go 3 times. Went out there for a vacation, then went to the Del Mar races every year. It was good stuff. So I think I would like the Kentucky Derby. I'm going to give Matt Kearney a shot. I'm going to give him a shot. Indy 500. Do I need to do it? I'm thinking about it. You could make that happen. You could get a ticket for $60. It's accessible, affordable, exciting. We have the PR director here. Listen to the Nate Brown Show. Take that. That's good stuff. Listener text, Tour de France is a month-long event with 2 days off. Well, it is. It's a month-long event, so you kind of need to hop around and follow it and do all of that. It's a great race. I'm just saying, going live, I would not go down that road. It's a great race, unbelievable race, right? Really. Tour de France is more difficult than the Indy 500. Do we want to get in that argument today? I'll argue that. Indy 500 coming in with 10% of the vote. I tried, Matt. I tried. Chris Hine's next. He covers the Timberwolves for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. He's the beat writer. Got a new book coming out on Anthony Edwards. Chris Hine is in Oklahoma City right now at the arena, and he's next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number 1. So you can always be their number 1. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number 1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale is on now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window. Plus enjoy no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
On today's online-only auction, we are selling items for the Paul Parker estate, several comic books, sports cards, die-cast cars, several Barbie and Ken Harley-Davidson collector dolls, John Deere model trains new in the box, jewelry, knives, collectibles. Also selling a 2010 Audi A4 four-door car, a 1990 Buick Regatta convertible, and a 1998 Chevy C25 regular cab four-wheel drive pickup. Auction begins to close at 6 p.m. To bid and buy, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows dip down to about 39. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for showers tomorrow, high of 63, partly cloudy. Tomorrow night, 38. Mid-60s, Thursday, turning cooler, Friday, with highs in the low 60s and thunderstorms. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 54.
The place that sells the best new cars and trucks is the place you'll find the best used cars and trucks. That place is Denny Menho Toyota. Shop better quality import and domestic models. Buy with no down and make no payments for 90 days. Plus, buy Toyota certified pre-owned with financing as low as 5.49% APR for up to 60 months. See us at Denny Menho Toyota or DennyMenhoToyota.com. 1910 per 1,000 finance regardless of down. Offers with qualified credit expires 6/30/25.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker, Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work, and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, getting going on a Tuesday. It's Game 1, Western Conference Finals. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, and Chris Hine is at Oklahoma City, getting set in the arena for Game 1 tonight. Timberwolves beat writer, StarTribune.com. Chris, welcome back on. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. It's busy. I know you got the coach presser coming up, so let's get to this. Year number 2 for the Wolves in the Western Conference Finals. How much does that matter, year 2?
I think it does matter because I don't think last season they were fully prepared for the moment. They didn't quite know what was coming, the pressure of it. And, I think coming out of that Denver series, which was a 7-game, emotional roller coaster of a series, they maybe were a little worn down. But now this is a completely different mindset and approach. It was very businesslike after they beat the Warriors. It honestly felt more like a regular season win than a win to advance into the Western Conference Finals afterwards. So I think there's a different mindset, a different approach, and maybe a different hunger this time around that they're just not happy to be here, that they want to go farther this time. They're not just settling for getting to this point.
How good do you think OKC is, Chris? You've seen them. You've covered the Wolves. OKC's won all these games in the regular season. How good do you think they are?
They're very good, and especially on the defensive end of the floor. Their offense comes and goes a little bit, especially with the supporting cast, but that defense is a constant, and it's a buzzsaw. They turn you over. They get out in transition, and that's really how they crush teams. They go on these maybe 3-4 minute bursts of just awesome defense, killing you at the other end, and before you know it, you're down 15, you're down 20, and that's how they put so many teams away during the course of the regular season. So, the key to the series for the Wolves is limiting turnovers, and getting back in transition after missed shots, because this game becomes this series becomes more of a half-court series. I think the Wolves can match up decently well with the Thunder in the half-court, and their defense is no joke either. So I think there's ways that the Wolves can limit them in the half-court, but if this is just going to be racing up and down, turnovers, and trying to prevent transition, then the Thunder are going to win this series.
Chris Finch talked about OKC earlier this season. He says they foul a lot. I mean, he said after the game, they foul a lot. How do the Wolves deal with that? They were fouling Jokic. That was the deal. The officials didn't call it that tight. How does that go?
It's a good question, and we'll see what the tenor of the series is, and some of that depends on who's officiating what games. And I think one of the things that Chris Finch brought up yesterday, and Mark Dagnall, the same thing, is, this isn't every referee crew in the league right now. These are the best of the best officials that the league has to offer at the moment. So, I think it's going to be interesting to see how the games are called, what the flow is. In general, the officiating tends to allow more physicality to let the defense get away with more stuff in the postseason, and I think that actually benefits both teams on the defensive end of the floor. But it's just all going to be dependent night to night. And, I think the Wolves, they're going to be on the lookout for how they guard Shea, what kind of calls he's going to get, versus Anthony Edwards, who, is more of a power player, uses his strength to get around and through people, and sometimes the amount of contact that Ant draws doesn't get whistled, or at least they feel that way. So I think that's going to be something they're going to be on guard for in this series.
Chris Hine, couple more. I'll let him go. He's got a presser coming up. Wolves beat writer, StarTribune.com for the best coverage. He's live at OKC for Game 1. Speaking of Ant and SGA, how close is it, Chris, with how good these guys are? I want to ask you, who's better? I lean Ant. Ant. How close is it, their talent level, their skill set?
Very close. I mean, they're very different players, I think, in a way. Shea has more of the finesse game, more mid-range game. Ant has, the power drive to the basket, the three-point shooting. He's, one of the best, if not the best, three-point shooter in the league this year. So he's got that. Shea not as good of a deep threat in that sense. So different players, different points in their careers, too. Ant is 3 years younger than Shea, but still, as Ant is coming up here, this is somebody that I think he views as in his peer group. It's different facing LeBron or facing Steph or guys that are a little older than Ant is, more accomplished. This is somebody who, Ant is going to be going toe-to-toe with and maybe making deep playoff runs against, potentially for the next several years. We'll see how their careers shake out from this point forward. But, I think Ant is, that 3-year difference is still a big difference in NBA years. So Ant still has room to grow, I think, even so in his game.
I've watched these teams a lot. Is Chet Holmgren a tough guard for Rudy Gobert because Chet's going to stretch him a little bit?
We'll see. We'll see how the Wolves choose to defend the Thunder when they're in those two big lineups, and just kind of how the Wolves tend to downshift with some of their lineups with Naz Reid and Julius Randle. I'm not even sure what the matchups are going to look like, to be honest with you. Do the Wolves put Julius Randle potentially on Chet in those two big lineups to guard him more on the perimeter in that way? So we'll see what the Wolves choose to do. But I think, one of the things about Rudy Gobert and that the Wolves are fairly confident in is, they think he can guard well in isolation on the perimeter. And, that happened a lot in the Lakers series against Luka Doncic. And, Rudy held his own against Luka. So I think if he does have to guard Chet on the perimeter, I think the Wolves are comfortable with that.
Chris Hine has a new book coming out June 3rd. You can get a pre-order, and I thought this was interesting, Chris. It's a biography on Anthony Edwards. It's called Ant. What are we going to learn about it? Why do we want to get it?
Yeah, it's an all-encompassing book about Ant's life in Atlanta growing up. His mother and his grandmother, Yvette and Shirley, who were his biggest cheerleaders, and the people that helped form his personality. They passed away when he was 13 of cancer, about 6 months apart from each other, and everything that they meant to him and he overcame to get to where he is, and the community there, the people that knew him growing up that helped him get to this point, get to the NBA, make it through. It's a story of family. It's a story of community. Hopefully people are inspired by it. And then the second half of the book is his 4 years with the Timberwolves, plus his Olympic experience last summer, the draft process and all those things. So I hope there's a lot of stuff in there that people don't know about Ant or his time with the Wolves or what kind of his upbringing in Atlanta, and I hope people learn a lot from it and have an appreciation for everything that he overcame and those around him that helped him get to this point.
How much edge does Anthony Edwards have competitive-wise? How bad does he want this?
He's a very intense competitor. He's a competitor in everything he does. And you hear that a lot about guys in the NBA, but I think that there's an extra gear that Ant can get to, and that competitiveness, tends to drive him on the court, and he can channel it in a positive way. I think he's learned that more and more throughout his career in year 5 now, not letting the competitiveness get the better of him, but using it in positive ways. And not always, if the right play is to pass the ball and look to create for teammates, then he does that. He doesn't always have to take a hero shot or take on another team one-on-one or 1-on-5. I think he's been learning to channel that in the right ways.
Chris Hine has the new book coming out. It's on Amazon. Ant, a biography of Anthony Edwards. Chris Hine, 7th season on the Timberwolves beat for the Star Tribune. His coverage tonight, Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals from OKC. Find it at StarTribune.com. He's on Twitter at Christopher Hine. Chris, I'll let you run. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nate. Appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. Chris Hine on tonight on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, Wolves beat writer, Minneapolis Star Tribune. Coverage tonight, Game 1, 6:30 Mountain, 7:30 Central. Big time. I'm there. I'm ready. This is interesting to me as a basketball guy. So, OKC, I watched every game against the Nuggets. And they're solid. I think they're definitely beatable. Jokic was really good. Jamal Murray was okay early, and then he got sick and kind of bagged it. So, and then the Nuggets don't have much after that. Yet the Nuggets made it very competitive all the way to Game 7. So I see the Wolves longer, more athletic. I think Julius Randle's going to be the X factor for the Wolves as I've watched it. He's got to be the X factor because you got Anthony Edwards. He's going to get some. Then you got the other role players. Julius Randle's going to have to put up some points here. He's going to have to be a player because they got defenders. They got Gobert, the rebounder, the shot blocker, the defender. Going to have some points because OKC's going to score at you a little bit. They're going to score on you. And who else is going to be an X factor? I think it's Julius Randle for the Wolves. I think the Wolves can get them. People have texted in, can they win this thing? I think they can get them. Denver was right there, and that was not a deep team at all. So I think the Wolves are deeper, overall better, playing pretty well. So it's going to be a good series. I'm not one of those guys, it's going to go 7. It's going to go 7. I like the Wolves here. I like the Wolves. I would love the Wolves. First ever NBA Finals appearance. Long way to go. Game 1 getting going tonight. Is Rudy Gobert going to guard Chet Holmgren? Holmgren likes shooting threes. He's a big, tall, stretch, skinny guy that doesn't bang around inside much. He was getting alley-oop dunks. He was shooting threes against the Nuggets. They didn't have anybody else that could guard him. It was just Jokic. And so you got more players that can guard Holmgren and just guard overall for the Wolves. So I think it'll be a good series, really good series. If they can get one tonight, what a start. What a start. You get one tonight, look out. So my deal is, should I go to the Wolves this weekend? I told my family this last night. I'm going to go to the Western Conference Finals. My wife laughed at that. Well, what's that mean? Is that she laughed? That means I'm good to go, or you're crazy? We'll find out. Stay tuned. Mike Golic Jr. is popping in next as we get going. College football is thinking they're going to get somebody to run college football. That's kind of what the new thing is right now. This is what people have been talking about. How much validity to this? Mike Golic Jr., TNT Sports college football analyst, live next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Get ready for summer. It's the Memorial Day sale through June 2nd at Splash City. Create your summer retreat in your backyard with a hot tub or a swim spa, or heat up with an infrared sauna for as little as $99 a month from the leading brands in the market. Jacuzzi, American Whirlpool, or Sundance. Get 0% financing and save up to $5,000 in factory rebates. Enjoy the summer ahead and save during the Memorial Day sale through June 2nd at the area's #1 summer fun spot, Splash City, Sioux Falls, Sioux City, and Rapid City.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Shop the region's largest selection of spirits, wines, and beers at the best prices today at both Mr. Liquor locations in Rapid City. Save $5 off Menage a Trois Red Blend, now just $6.99. Take $6 off all flavors of Choppin' Vodka, now $23.99. Or pick up High Noon ready-to-drink cocktails, 4 packs, only $9.99. Price is good at the new Mr. Liquor 2 next to Walmart off Catron, or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Headed to the 85th Sturgis Rally? Make the ride even better with a stay at Cadillac Jackson Deadwood. Relax in style with 3 top-notch hotels. Spring Hill Suites by Marriott, Doubletree, and True by Hilton. Plus, enjoy 4 eateries and Deadwood's largest casino floor. Mention this ad and receive an exclusive Gambler's Getaway that includes a $20 food and beverage credit, $30 in Cadillac cash, and 2 free drink tickets. Book your rally stay today at Cadillac Jacks. Call 605-578-1500.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Welcome in, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, Fox Sports Radio. Mike Henriksen coming up, longtime South Dakota sports broadcaster. He'll be live next hour. Hang on. What's on tap? Presented by the new Campfire Bar, Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron Boulevard. Your home for live sports and 20 South Dakota brews on tap at the Campfire Bar inside the new Mr. Liquor 2. That's what's on tap on the Nate Brown Show tonight. The Campfire Bar, 20 local brews on tap. Mike Golic Jr.'s on tonight, TNT Sports college football analyst. I got a lot of things to throw Mike's way. Appreciate him coming on. Mike, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Nate?
Doing good, man. I got a question of the day. It's Indy 500 week. Indy 500 week. So you tell me the most iconic racing event that you have to attend in person.
Are we going strictly like car racing? Because I do wonder, coming off what we've seen in the world of horse racing, if anything like the Kentucky Derby would count. But if I would say auto racing, yes, that would probably be the one for me, especially someone who, called the state of Indiana home and still does in a lot of ways.
Okay, so, no, I did throw the Kentucky Derby in there, and the vote is the Kentucky Derby. So if it's between the Kentucky Derby and the Indy 500, where do we find Mike Golic Jr.?
I would probably say the Kentucky Derby. Now, I have been to neither, and I have friends that have gone to a lot. I have a lot of buddies from the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area that, have a big background in horse racing and love the event. I have buddies who just love drinking and love going to the infield and carrying on, doing what they do there, and it seems like it affords you a lot of different ways to enjoy the event. So I'll probably take the ponies.
Okay. All right. I wanted to get your take on that, see where you stand. By the way, let's get into this college football headline from Yahoo. They're saying the Power 4 conference leaders are trying to create a college sports commission. This is a new entity geared toward rules enforcement with NIL and all of that stuff. A clearinghouse that's going to take a look at NIL deals and make sure that they're up to speed. And it would essentially have a CEO. The College Sports Commission would have somebody running it and running the Power 4 conferences for college football. What do you think of this?
I think most of what I've read about the potential for Power 4 autonomy over this new world of college athletics and what they're seeking in terms of oversight from the government sounds an awful lot like, how close can we get to the old system where the players could still make money? And the irony of all of this is it sounds fine if we didn't already see and have firsthand knowledge over the last few years of just how valuable players are when put on the open market. Now, again, we can talk about guardrails and restrictions in terms of contracts and all that stuff, but in terms of the price tag for these players, we have seen exactly what a lot of people believe they're worth over a multi-year span, and most of what I've heard involving these Power 4 conferences trying to come together and regulate sounds like putting some sort of a cap on that, making a whole lot of decisions that get us closer to the old model, once again, without ever consulting the players in this process. So it sounds like an awful lot of people are going to spend time convincing us they're different when in actuality they'd like more of what we had.
Okay, so the NCAA is not involved in this. At least they say, no, we don't need them. Doesn't college football need a CEO? I've heard that argument made.
I think college football has always needed leadership, whatever form you want that to come in. If having a CEO or a person that people have to answer to, a defined board of people whose jobs it is to think about sports, right? Because I think so long in college, we have to remind people every time big decisions come up, whether it is conference realignment, big changes at the sport of the highest level, these are decisions that end up getting made by university presidents and people who 90% of their job has nothing to do with the world of college athletics, let alone big-time college football. That's become this massive, hulking behemoth of an industry unto itself. And so I do think having more people whose job it is to solely look out for the best interest of the sport is probably good. The other problem with that is, though, when we say best interest of the sport, who are we thinking of? We're thinking of the fans. We're thinking of the players, the coaches, the people involved in the day-and-day, the soul of the sport. I still worry that most of the chief decision makers in this sport will be making it with the same thing in mind that everyone else has been doing so far, which is how can we get the most dollars and cents for the most important institutions possible? And that still seems to be the default setting for the sport, regardless of who we put in charge.
This is Mike Golic Jr. on the Pizza Ranch Hotline. Appreciate his time. College football analyst, TNT Sports. So you're a Notre Dame guy. Notre Dame USC has played for a long time. Last game, at least now, coming up. Is this a rivalry that's going to continue? Should it?
I mean, it should, yeah. There's a lot of rivalries around college sports that should continue that for some reason the people in charge of making these decisions don't seem to care about as much as we do. And this one, listen, is not just my bias as a Notre Dame grad. All the reporting so far seems to indicate this is a USC problem, this series not continuing. This is USC looking at all the differences and challenges that have come with playing the Big Ten, whether it's the power of the schedule and the difficulty they have just going through their own conference schedule, whether it's the travel and the miles that are going to end up because of the decision they made. All of these reasons lobbed up, and then, oh, by the way, you've lost 6 of the last 7, and you're Lincoln Riley sort of limping into 2025 with your future maybe a little more uncertain than you'd imagine it would be at this point in your USC tenure, especially one that included a Heisman Trophy winner in it in Caleb Williams. And so all of those things seem to indicate that USC wants to go and make life easier on themselves by not scheduling this game anymore, and I think that's a damn shame for everybody involved in the sport.
I wonder if Notre Dame's going to be able to keep this thing alive. What do you think Notre Dame has to do to try and convince them, like, neutral sites, go to USC more, what?
And that's probably going to be it. And if I'm Notre Dame, I'm not really going to capitulate for anything because USC made this problem. USC, now, listen, understand the downfall of the Pac-12 has a lot of people in decision-making positions we can point the finger to. But USC and UCLA, and really we know USC, decided we are going to go and take the plunge, pull the plug, and blow this thing up in favor of greener pastures and greener dollars over in the Big Ten. They're the ones who wanted to make that decision. They hired Lincoln Riley. Everything that's happened since has all been in their control. And so for the people out there, spare me. The crowd of people, and it's a minority, but it's a crowd I've heard saying, well, Notre Dame could solve this by joining a conference and joining the Big Ten. I thought people in college football love tradition. We're the ones doing the same thing we've been doing. USC is the one that's decided to rock the boat every which way, but now all of a sudden people want us to go and try and come to the table with our hat in our hand. I don't think Notre Dame should do that. I think, listen, if both sides come together and say, hey, playing Labor Day weekend or in that area at a neutral site is something that gets us these two helmets playing against each other, that's great. But, man, the neutral site games, listen, Notre Dame plays plenty of them. Notre Dame is, if people look at that as an overall problem in college football, certainly part of it. The Shamrock Series is something Notre Dame's done year after year. Usually a lot of the service academies are smaller schools who want to take that game against Notre Dame, and Notre Dame wants to use it as a recruiting tool in these bigger metro areas, and I understand that. But a rivalry game of this magnitude with this much history, I think should continue to be played on the campuses. Hell, Notre Dame's already made it very easy. They get to come out to South Bend when it's nice and sunny. We don't make SC and Stanford ever come to South Bend once winter's hit and there's the white stuff on the ground. So I think that should be the only line that continues to be drawn in the sand. And if USC doesn't want this bad enough to go ahead and meet us where it's always been, then unfortunately this may have to be the way it is for the time being, and that's sad.
I like it. Mike Golic Jr. on tonight. Couple of NFL hitters, Mike. I want your read on this. They're going to vote tomorrow on banning the tush push in the NFL. The Washington Commanders linebacker said it's a cheapo play. I say it's a cheapo play. What do you say?
I say if it was so cheap and easy, everyone would do it. It's the same argument I made since the beginning of this. At this point, I hope they get rid of it just so people stop crying. Because you know what I guarantee you? The Eagles are still going to be pretty damn good in third and fourth and short. I have a hunch based on their personnel, that's probably going to be an area they still excel at and other teams have a difficult time stopping. They just won't have any excuses anymore. So you know what? Do it just so the excuse is gone and the Eagles can go back to bludgeoning people for fun in whatever way. You know what? That's, to me, the ultimate thing of dominance here. My offensive line coach, Harry Heaton, always said, people talk about money downs. There's going to be third and fourth and short where everyone in the stadium knows exactly what's about to happen, and you have to train enough to dare them to stop it. The Eagles could laugh in everyone's face if they continue to pile drive them, even without this thing that they've perfected in a way really no one outside of the Buffalo Bills with their Clydesdale of a quarterback and Josh Allen have been able even close to replicate here. So I think it's been a lot of crying. I'm ready for the crying to be over with and for the Eagles to go back to doing this the old-fashioned way, just so people will leave them alone and let them be large and burly in peace.
Next, now, are you going to sign up and try and get in the flag football Olympics?
Not a chance in hell. I have recognized as someone now that struggles even in group fitness classes to keep my rapidly aging body from suffering some sort of minor affliction, that if I actually went and tried to do dynamic movement against other athletes, I would pull muscles I did not know my body had. So, no, I'm going to watch this one from the couch the way I do everything else now. The best thing about this job that I tell people is no one can hit me anymore, and I don't have to chase anyone at work, and that's a blessing at this point in my life.
Do you like NFL players now getting to play in this? I mean, are we going to see Justin Jefferson running by a guy from Australia, a random guy?
I mean, listen, I think it would be cool, and it'd be a great draw for the event, right? Well, listen, the Olympics are something that we all enjoy every 4 years. You get to wrap yourself in the flag and beam with pride and get to know athletes in a lot of sports that maybe you don't know day in and day out for the rest of the year. Flag football is one that does not have the cachet that sports in other areas that we love do. Track and field that becomes popular every 4 years, swimming and diving that become popular in that way. They have the benefit of history. Flag football does not. And I don't know for a lot of people if on its face it would be enough of a draw. But if not only we have NFL guys competing, but potentially for countries outside of the U.S. that make this interesting, I think that would be great for the event. It's great that guys want to be involved, where this has to become a conversation because players are passionate enough about it. And so, yeah, I'm in favor of NFL guys getting to go out there and play. I understand some of the guys from the flag football community haven't been as high on that, but them's the breaks. Be good enough to play, or you don't get to play at all. That's how it goes.
Mike Golic Jr. in tonight. Great stuff. Find him at Mike Golic Jr. on Twitter, TNT Sports. Mike, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Nate. Have a good one.
See ya. Mike Golic Jr., TNT Sports college football analyst, getting us going on a Tuesday night. He's on Twitter at Mike Golic Jr. All right, I have two things for you. I will give you my thoughts on NFL players now being allowed to play in the Olympics in 2028 in L.A. It's going to be flag football with the NFL players. I'll give you my thoughts on that. And my honest thoughts, I got a message for the Eagles. The Eagles players just commented. A.J. Brown and a couple other guys say they talked about the tush push. They just commented on it. This vote's coming up tomorrow. I got a message for the Eagles next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
If you're grilling this weekend, be sure to have plenty of Village Hearth buns on hand. Fancy equipment and secret sauces are great, but once you've mastered the basics, it's all about the bun. Your perfectly grilled burgers and hot dogs deserve the best, and with several varieties to choose from, including unsliced old-fashioned, classic white or wheat, country potato, and mini sliders, the bakers of Village Hearth have the buns your family will love. Village Hearth buns, locally baked and delivered fresh daily.
Hey, Sioux Falls sports fans, there's a great new sports bar in Sioux Falls, Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar on West Russell Street in the Ramada Water Park Hotel. If you want to watch games, UFC, they've got it, wall-to-wall TVs, and the best part, great food. Gourmet pizza at Boston's, tons of wing options, great burgers, and a lot more. Bring the family, bring the team, bring your crew to the new Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar in Sioux Falls on West Russell Street. Plus, you can order online for lunch or dinner. Just go to bostons.com.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows dip down to about 39. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for showers tomorrow, high of 63, partly cloudy. Tomorrow night, 38. Mid-60s, Thursday, turning cooler, Friday, with highs in the low 60s and thunderstorms. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 54.
You want trucks? We've got trucks. At Denny Menel Rapid Chevrolet, shop our largest selection of new Chevy HD trucks in years. 7 2500s, 11 3500s, gas, diesel, and dualies, all with our exclusive $1,500 Denny Menel discount. Plus, get factory cash rebates or financing as low as 3.9% APR for 60 months. The trucks you want are at Denny Menel Rapid Chevrolet or DennyMenelRapidChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. $18.37 per thousand finance regardless of down with qualified credit. Expires 6/2/25.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Hey, sports parents and ballers of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street is the newest indoor sports facility featuring 4 full courts. E3 Sports is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships and court rentals are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Oh, good stuff. Welcome in tonight. Thanks for being here. The Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Coming up, Mike Henriksen, longtime South Dakota sports broadcaster. You know Mike. He's in tonight. We'll talk to Brandon Colpitts, Rapid City Central head football coach who just stepped down yesterday to become a volunteer assistant. So he's been running that program, trying to bring it back here and changing the culture. It takes time. It takes a lot of effort. He's going to step down. He's got a new professional opportunity, so Central's going to have to go with a new head football coach. Brandon Colpitts joining us live tonight in this interview to discuss the reasoning and where he sees the program going. That's coming up on the high school football side. Okay, couple of things here. The owners and the NFL are meeting in Minneapolis right now, and they've talked about a couple of things here. They're going to vote tomorrow on if they're going to ban the tush push, and this is the Green Bay Packers proposal. You Packer fans should be proud. I'm standing with you. Don't worry about all these Vikings fans who don't like you. I'm standing with you, Packer fans, to ban the tush push and ban people from advancing runners. I don't want to see offensive linemen grabbing runners anymore and pushing them down the field. Do you want to see that anymore? I mean, so let's just end it right here. Let's just end it right now. The tush push is getting categorized as just an Eagles thing. No, this has turned into people are grabbing runners and carrying them across the goal line. The defense has enough disadvantages. There's disadvantages. They can't hit the quarterbacks. They can't hit the wide receivers. They can't hit this. They can't do that. Lead with the shoulder. Watch the helmet to helmet. I mean, they can't do anything. And now we're grabbing running backs and pulling them down the field with 320-pound offensive linemen. So just it's over. The Eagles players, A.J. Brown said, it doesn't make a difference anyway. He said it's just 1 yard. That's what he said today. Just 1 yard. Well, one of the offensive linemen said, it's not a big deal. We'll just we'll do it anyway. I mean, we'll get the first down anyway. Okay, then I want to watch the Eagles vote for it tomorrow. Let's vote to take it away. The Eagles talking tough. Let's vote to take it away then. Shouldn't need to advance the runners with the tight end and running back behind you, right? Should just be able to get it, call it good, and everybody's on an even playing field. We have the rules now that we can change. No more advancing the runners. This goes back to a rule that we had years ago. You couldn't push the runners down the field. I mean, it's a dumb thing. And so we could take that out. I like that the Packers revised the thing, not just to be an Eagles thing, but to say, yes, it's advancing a runner, which includes Jalen Hurts and it includes the running back. So I hope they kill it. I'm a little worried about it, but the Eagles talk tough. They said, we don't need it. It doesn't matter anyway, so they should vote against it tomorrow. They should vote to take it out. And I hope that happens. So Minnesota, the site of the banishment of the tush push tomorrow. Maybe. And by the way, what do you think of NFL players getting to play flag football? So we have some listeners that have said, hey, this is something that's coming. Flag football is getting popular, and now it's an Olympic sport, and the NFL is going to allow a player from each team to play if they want to. So one player from each team. So we could have Josh Allen out there throwing to Justin Jefferson in L.A. in a few years. And I actually think that's kind of cool. Like, I was kind of slow to it going, Do I want to watch Josh Allen and Justin Jefferson tear apart Jimmy Lipper from Australia? I mean, do we have that many NFL caliber players in other countries? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Because maybe they're going to be better than I thought, but I think we're the king of football. Now, we're not going to be able to physically, knock people around as much, but it'll be an interesting sport to watch. And if you're telling me Josh Allen's going to play or Mahomes is going to play and throw it to Justin Jefferson and Ashton Genty's the running back, whatever, I'm in on that. Why wouldn't we watch that? I, of course, am going to watch that in the Olympics. You're crazy if you don't. So I'd rather watch that than, I don't know, some famous flag football player from Omaha. I mean, sorry, I was just in Omaha. Good place. A lot of good flag football players from what I hear, but you're just not going to cut it. It's going to be Josh Allen, Mahomes, Justin Jefferson, and we're going to take it to Jimmy Lipper from Australia. What are these games going to be? 251-20? This will be interesting. It'll be like some of the indoor football games I used to watch. Not so good. Coming right back into the next hour, I've got something here. People are complaining about this pro athlete who is getting a huge contract and maybe dogging it now. What do we think of pro athletes that get huge contracts? Do you think they change their competitiveness? I'm going to get into that. Hang on.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale is on now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window. Plus enjoy no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit rbarapidcity.com to book your free estimate.
294 BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, golfers, have you experienced Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club? Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the #1 public course in South Dakota. Off Exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at elkhornridgeresort.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
We're talking with Britt Wickett at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy for an Elevate Performance Health Minute. Britt, one of the injuries we hear a lot about in sports, an ACL tear. You can't prevent all injuries, but good sports performance training could help.
Yeah, Nate, one of the things that a lot of good sports performance training focuses on is trying to not only prepare athletes for the field of sport, but also try to mitigate their risk to sustain an injury. Unfortunately, things happen in sport. If anybody ever does experience an ACL tear, that results in needing a surgery to fix that. It's important to have a therapist on your side who can help them through prehab, rehab, and then return to sport. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes a long time to get back to the field of sport, but it's not impossible to do it all by any means. So just having that end goal in mind can be really beneficial for the rehab process.
When it comes to ACLs and sports performance training and treatment, get started at elevateperformancesd.com.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Welcome in tonight, Tuesday edition of the program. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. You found us. Thanks for being here. Fox Sports Radio, the Nate Brown Show live. Great to have you on the radio side. A reminder, you can catch us on Twitter all the time, every afternoon drive on Twitter, at Nate Brown Show. That's where you'll find the handle. So watch us live, participate in the questions of the day, interact with us. We check the Twitter account throughout the show. Follow us and watch us live at Nate Brown Show, and also on YouTube right now, The Nate Brown Show, the YouTube channel. Subscribe, and you've got every show there. Busy show tonight. We'll go South Dakota Sports up next. Mike Henriksen's joining us live from Sioux Falls, South Dakota Sports broadcaster. Brandon Colpitts on tonight, former head coach now, Rapid City Central football. They're going to be looking for a new head coach. He's going to stay in the program, take a new professional job opportunity, and not going to be able to do the head coaching thing. He's going to go volunteer assistant. Coach Colpitts did a nice job putting in a lot of work with the Rapid City Central football program. What does he say about that program moving forward? Coach Colpitts is coming up live tonight. Question of the day, it is Indy 500 week, and I'm trying to determine if I'm ever going to make it to the Indy 500. Am I going to have to put it on my list? I'm not a race car fan, and I've got a lot of people that are trying to tell me, trying to sell me on this. I've asked you for the most iconic racing event to attend in person, and I put the Kentucky Derby in there too. It doesn't have to just be cars. Most iconic racing event to attend in person. My question of the day, if you want to answer that, I'd like you to do that. Tell me the most iconic racing event you would want to attend in person. Kentucky Derby, Indy 500, Daytona 500. Any others? We got some votes across the board here. 605-720-1067, the Barons-Wilson text line tonight. Question of the day, most iconic racing event you want to attend in person. Here's one, Knoxville Sprint Car Nationals, Iowa. Knoxville Sprint Car Nationals, Iowa. Let's see. Listener text, I think you need to go to a race like the Daytona 500 or Indy 500, and I think your perspective would change about car racing. Okay. I mean, I've just never gotten into it. I've been to races. I've been to speedways. I've been to the Sturgis Rally races, the famous rally races. I haven't been to massive races. I like horse racing. I'm a fan of horse racing. I haven't been to a bunch of car races. Listener text, Memorial Day weekend is a race fan's dream. F1 Monaco, Indy 500, Coke 600. I didn't know I was missing out on all of that. Let's see. What is the audience saying on Twitter? 65% number one vote getter, most iconic racing event to attend in person. 65% of you, Kentucky Derby. That heavy. The horse racing wins. That heavy. 65%. It'll be interesting to see, what does the Kentucky Derby get for ratings as compared to the Indy 500? Kentucky Derby's got to beat it, right? Indy 500 is going to be on Fox, and the Kentucky Derby's got to beat it, though, right? I think so. 65% of you say Kentucky Derby's the best racing event to attend in person. 25% want to go Daytona 500. 10% going Indy 500. And no, that's not just Matt Kearney and his 20 other ghost accounts. That's not. It's real voters. 10% Indy 500. We had the PR director, former PR director of the Indy 500, call into the program in the first hour. That was really good stuff. He said, you got to go Indy 500. It's hands down the greatest spectacle in racing. Okay, Let me get to this really quick before we get to Colpitts up next, former Rapid City Central head football coach. So here's the study in pro sports now. When a player gets a huge contract, NFL guys are playing for the second contract. They want the huge dollars. Baseball players have to play a long time usually before they get a massive contract, and then it's like a huge deal. The Mike Trout deal, the Shohei Ohtani deal, the Joe Mauer deal. You guys are all familiar with that. And the latest, Juan Soto. So Juan Soto was with the Yankees producing, Nationals first, and then got this career going. Juan Soto just got a $765 million deal with the Mets. So Steve Cohen doesn't have any problem with any money. He just pays whatever. So he gets the largest contract in Major League Baseball history, Juan Soto. Why I bring this up, there's the New York Post this morning saying that Juan is dogging it. He's not hustling. He's not caring. He's got this big money deal, and Juan Soto didn't run out a play last night against the Red Sox. Didn't run out a hit. It hit off the wall, and he ended up getting a single because he was not running out of the box. So we're at this here. Do players, when they get the huge dollars, do you think these highly competitive, high-end guys, do they stop being as competitive? Do they stop caring as much? This is a tough question for me because I watch these guys, and I tend to believe this. Really easy for us to, why do they do this? Why don't they do that? They don't look like they care. You hear this a lot in the NBA. They don't look like they care. I've made this argument. People, don't realize it. The NBA games, like, you want to go play basketball? Just go down to the Y, play basketball. You'll be dead. It's just, you're going up and down, high intensity stuff. Basketball, there's no breaks hardly at all. Defense, offense. I don't think they get enough credit for how hard basketball is. 82 games and then into the 7-game series. Easy to say these guys are dogging it. Basketball's tough. I'm going to tell you this. 162 games of baseball. I understand slower. I understand not as much intensity physically. Not as much intensity. But it's a grind. It's a grind. Do you think players actually start bagging it once they get the big contracts? I said this is tough for me because I do think there are players that you can grab and say, I don't know if that guy cares. Here's one for me back in the day with my Broncos, Jay Cutler. I mean, I don't know if Jay Cutler gave a rip at all. With the Broncos, he was okay, but he still started being pretty flippant. It was just like, I mean, I don't know if Jay Cutler cared. I was looking at Jay Cutler. He gets a money deal with the Bears. I don't think he gave a rip. I mean, that's me. How about the Deshaun Watson mess? Deshaun Watson seemed like he was a competitor at Clemson and at the Texans, so was a competitor. Gets a huge deal, and I know he got the off-field mess he created. Gets a huge deal. It's like he doesn't give a rip. I throw this one out. Do we really think James Harden really cares about playing defense at all? It's fun to play offense. I'm not saying that. But just watch James Harden with the Clippers. Does he really care? He's got a huge contract. And I don't think James Harden cares about playing much. I mean, I think if you said, James, you're not going to be able to play basketball anymore, I don't know if he cares. Last but not least, why is Chris Bryant, why was he so good with my Cubs? Younger guy, playing for a contract, trying to do everything he could. Do I think Chris Bryant, who now is with the Rockies, did he all of a sudden just not become a good baseball player? You tell me. I know guys get the yips. Did he just not become a good baseball player, or did he get a huge money deal with the Rockies and you just wonder? I'm not sure on that. I've been a Chris Bryant fan. It's just some guys that I throw out there. But I can't say most pro athletes that get the big dollar stop caring. Can you? Let me ask the audience on this. 605-720-1067, the Barron's Wilson text line. Juan Soto getting hit by the New York fans after this deal last night. Didn't run out of the box. They said this isn't the first time now. He's done this a couple of times. So he's got a huge deal. And fans wonder this because you get so much money and the contract's sealed. It's sealed. It's done. He's got $765 coming in, no doubt. Does he have as much passion and energy and commitment and dedication? Does he? It's a legit question, but do you think most pro athletes that get the huge contracts still care about their performance? Do you think most pro athletes that get the huge contracts still care about their performance? 53% of you voting tonight say they do not care as much. It's human nature. 47% of you say they still care. They compete hard. They compete hard. Listener text, that's what separates the great players from the legendary ones. Jordan never bagged it. Yeah, I think that's partly, I mean, you just look at it. Why was Tom Brady the man? Because I think he was a lunatic that really cared. I'll give Patrick Mahomes a ton of credit. I think he's a competitor, big time. And I'm not going to tell you all these other quarterbacks, they aren't. But I'm telling you, there's something a little bit different. You can say what you want about Travis Kelce and all the annoying Chiefs. I say they're annoying. You can take that to the bank. They care. They compete. I don't like them, but they care. I like that part about it. Josh Allen, huge money deal. Real competitor. Real competitor. There's guys you can just tell, and then there's guys that, I'm not so sure. There's guys that you're just not so sure. You remember guys like Zach Wilson, Josh Rosen, just not so sure. They get some big money deals. They get drafted high. They get all the money. I don't know if they can. And to Juan Soto, I don't know. He says, I'm still hustling. I'm hustling a lot. And I watched the at-bat last night. Maybe it was just the baseball play. Maybe it was just that, couple of times. Or maybe it's the $765 million. What would you do? How about your job? You get a big deal. You get a bunch of money. Do you still care as much? It's interesting. Everybody gets comfortable. That's an interesting question. 51% of you now saying it's human nature to not care as much. It's a split vote with these big contract deals. I still, it's not most, but there is a select few, the select, that get huge money deals and it doesn't impact their competitiveness. They're the ones, and you can tell who they are, to me. We'll see if Anthony Edwards is one of those guys starting tonight. Coming right back, Brandon Colpitts, Rapid City Central. He's going to step down as head coach. What does this all mean for that program that's trying to get going? Coach Colpitts next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
This summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale is on now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window. Plus enjoy no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit rbarapidcity.com to book your free estimate.
For Fox Sports Rapid City Forecast. Lows level off around 39. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for showers again tomorrow, 63. Lows dip down to about 38. Tomorrow night, mainly clear. Seasonal temps Thursday and Friday with the highs from the mid-60s to the upper 60s. Slight chance for storms Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 49.
Hey sports fans, it's Rob from the Firehouse Skybox. We are Rapid City's premier sports bar with everything you want for the best game watching experience. Bring your crew and take in the action while enjoying our Firehouse craft beers, specialty cocktails, and a great menu of Firehouse burgers, nachos, and more. We have every game, every night on our 35 big screens, and there's not a bad seat in the house. Come and watch your favorite team at the #1 place for sports, the Skybox, right above the Firehouse, Main Street, downtown Rapid City.
Ever dreamed of building something amazing? Builders First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs is your go-to building materials partner. Whether you're building new or giving new life to an old space, we provide step-by-step guidance from drafting and cabinetry design to lifelike visualization and top-quality materials. It's your vision, and we're here to make it real. Visit BLDR.com. Builders First Source, your Black Hills partner in building every step of the way.
Being in business has its rewards as well as its challenges. It means being the first one in the door in the morning and turning off the lights when you leave at night. Your business is unique, and you need a bank that understands your needs. You deserve the best. You need a financial partner that is invested in your success. You need Pioneer Bank and Trust. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. Your sports, your show. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio every afternoon drive. Thanks for being here. Hope you've had a great Tuesday. Coming up, Mike Henriksen live, South Dakota sports broadcaster, longtime broadcaster. Mike Henriksen talking South Dakota sports coming up. Well, we have Rapid City Central former head coach on. He's going to be in the program, so he's going to be a volunteer assistant coach. Doesn't want to get out of this thing totally. He's got a new professional opportunity he's got to commit to. So Brandon Colpitts, Rapid City Central football head coach, going to step down from the head coaching role. And the Cobbler's going to try and get a new head man. And Brandon Colpitts back on the Nate Brown Show as we've talked to him over the last couple of years. Coach, good to have you on. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me, Nate.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on. Let me ask you. Life comes at you. You got, there's jobs, there's opportunities. You love football, you love coaching. How hard was this to make this call?
Yeah, it was extremely difficult. Didn't end last season thinking any changes were going to happen other than, just trying to get better as a program. And, opportunity came my way. I happened to be connected to the guy who's in the role now at Rydell that's retiring. We had some conversations with him over, the last few months, and the more I learned, the more I realized this from a family perspective, just wasn't something I couldn't pass up. And so when I officially got the notification I got the job last week, had to move pretty quick on it, and, here we are today. So grateful I get to still hang around and, provide any input that the new head coach would like, help out in any way, shape, or form. Definitely want to see this program continue to rise and get better.
I want to ask you about the last couple of years because you've had a lot of passion. You've put time in here. Has this been difficult, the amount of time, effort, trying to build this up here? It takes time. How difficult has it been?
Oh, yeah, definitely difficult. I mean, it has its challenges, right? I'm a pretty optimistic guy. I'm a hard worker, and I just take the losses as a lesson, and we keep moving forward. And I think you saw that with the way our kids played and performed from year 1 to year 2. Is that they weren't concerned with the has-been or what they used to have, what the program used to be like. They were concerned with getting better and learning from their mistakes. And it's a credit to the kids and our coaching staff and the work that we've put in collectively. It's a process to build a program. And when I got the job, I told myself, 5 years, you got to give it at least 5, because you think about it, your 8th graders, when you come in, would then be seniors, and they had been able to go through the whole program that you had helped design and build and implement, and that you should be able to see whether or not it's going to be a successful program by that time frame. And that was my plan all along until this opportunity came along, and I felt like if I passed on it now, I may not get the chance again until I was closer to retirement. So had to take it and kind of little speed bump in the direction of the program. But I think just meeting with our staff on Sunday as a coaching staff, everyone's mindset's the same of we're pushing this thing forward, and we're the progress that we had isn't going to go anywhere. We had a lot of guys commit a lot of time to this, to building Central up, and none of them want to see that go to waste. And so collectively as a group, as a staff, everyone's excited to just keep pushing forward and making Central football better.
Brandon Colpitts joining us tonight on the Nate Brown Show, Rapid City Central football coach. He was the head man the last 2 years, going to step down and become an assistant for the program. Do people know how much time it takes, not just the season? Did you know how much time this was going to take? I'm talking.
That's a good question. With anything, you don't know until you know. And when you step into the role and you invest everything you have into it, you learn a lot about yourself and you learn a lot about the role. And so in a way, I didn't know how much it was, going to take. Coming from an assistant coach perspective in Yankton, I thought I had a lot of things figured out. I had great role models to follow as well. And when you step into it and it's you, it's just different. All your strengths and weaknesses are exposed and teaches you a lot about yourself. And but it's a time-consuming deal, and that was never an issue for me. I love the grind of it because it's really that 365 days a year you got to be putting in the work. And the off season is where you really make the strides that you hope to make as a program, because you got to be strong, you got to be fast, and you got to be conditioned, and you also have to have chemistry. And those things are developed in the off season, and then you get to the season, and that's where you get to show all the work you put in. And so it really is a lot. I don't think the average person or the average fan really understands, and don't necessarily expect them to, but it's definitely it's an investment. And unfortunately, because it's such an investment, and with this new opportunity for me, you owe it to the game and to the kids to give them everything you have. And if you can't do that, then you have to, make the tough decision to let someone else be that person.
Brandon Colpitts going to take a job with Rydell Football Equipment and Sports Equipment Company. Now he's going to become an assistant there at Rapid City Central. He's been the head football coach for the Cobblers, snapped a 29-game losing streak. It's been a tough program. You got that done, got into the postseason. I want to know what you think you want people to take away here. You're going to be involved in trying to help out, but what do you want your staple to be with the program that you hope you can hang your hat on and this program will continue?
Yeah, I hope people look back on my tenure and they look at it and they go, there wasn't a single stone left unturned, that coaching staff put every ounce of love and effort they had into the kids, and that the kids played with that same love and effort when they were on the field. And I think if you step back and you look at our program and you ask yourself, did you see those things? You could say definitively yes. And this is so cool to see from one year to the next, just the growth of of the kids and just them learning to fall in love with the weight room. It was really cool, and so I hope it really is a blueprint for a lot, because West River football, Nate, as well as anyone, it hasn't been great. You'll have a good team here or there that just has some absolute dudes that, you can call just about any play and they're going to do well, but to really build a good culture and a good program, it takes a commitment throughout the whole year. And so I hope that, people can look at what we've done and kind of use it as a blueprint for what it takes and give it the time that it needs to do that. We have some good examples out here of what that looks like, and Sturgis, and Spearfish is doing some great things, and STM's always been good, and Hot Springs winning the state title a couple years ago. But especially with the Rapid City schools, it's been a struggle for a while, and so just being able to build off of some of the energy and the effort that we've put in is what I hope people take from it.
Yeah, you had a big commitment. I know that. I love the passion. I talked to some people in the program that said this thing's going the right way. So why'd you decide to still hang on a little bit? It might be kind of an interesting dynamic. It's like, well, the head coach is here still, kind of. Why'd you want to hang on a little bit?
Yeah, continuity is important. And here's the thing with that, right? If someone gets the job and they don't want the old guy around, I'm not naive. I understand. However, I try and put my ego aside. I never got into this because I wanted to, get in the Hall of Fame or anything. I love kids. I love the game, and I felt like there was a huge need at Central, and I wanted to help. And so if I can keep that same servant mentality and that same heart for the program of just, I want to help these kids get better, and I want to see the program be successful in whatever role that is, even if it's behind the scenes, then that's what I want to do. And like I said, if, I don't want to get in the way of things, and so if it ever did become that scenario, I get it. But however, I do think I have some knowledge and experience with the game and understanding, what a good program looks like, and I just want to provide any help I can.
Do you ever want to be a head coach again?
Hey, we'll see. The unfortunate thing is that the job that I took, it does require, more of me in the fall, and so I don't know if I could do, working for Rydell and being the head coach at the same time. However, God works in mysterious ways, and I think we always end up where we're supposed to be one way or another. And so I would never say never, but right now I'm looking forward to the new opportunity with Rydell and finding ways to help out football in Rapid City still.
Coach, good to have you, man. I appreciate your effort and time the last couple of years, and you'll be hanging in. We'll talk to you again. I appreciate you coming on. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks for all you do, Nate. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for the time. Brandon Colpitts on tonight, Rapid City Central head football coach the last couple of years. I've liked what he's done there. Man, it's taken a lot of commitment, a lot of time. You got to be willing to put up with some losses, some struggles, some numbers, and it's an uphill fight. It's an uphill battle. He took it on last couple of years. He's going to stick around as a volunteer assistant for now and take a new opportunity with Rydell, a good opportunity on the professional side. Coach Brandon Colpitts on tonight, talking Rapid City Central and the future of the program. We come right back with Mike Henriksen, South Dakota sports broadcaster, one of the all-timers. Mike's in next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. the #1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale is on now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window. Plus, enjoy no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit rbarapidcity.com to book your free estimate.
Laughs as the Box Elder Event Center welcomes comedian Michael Palisak.
When I was in college, my parents relocated to Chicago, and I found them.
After being a finalist on Last Comic Standing and appearances on Stephen Colbert and Conan, he's coming to Rapid City Saturday, May 31st.
The closest thing we have to a gang is the Future Farmers of America.
Advance tickets are just $20 at the Box.Live. Don't miss Michael Palisak at the Box Elder Event Center, Saturday, May 31st.
Experience the best selection and lowest prices in town at both Mr. Liquor stores in Rapid City. Shop their massive wine selection and save $4 off all 19 Crimes Cali wines. Save $2 off 750 bottles of Dr. Mac, now just $13.49. Or pick up the big 175 of Jose Cuervo ready-to-drink cocktails for only $13.49. Price is good at the new Mr. Liquor 2 next to Walmart off Catron or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome in The Nate Brown Show and the quest to the Indy 500. You never thought you'd hear that on The Nate Brown Show, did you? But Matt Curdy's in charge today, so we made it the Indy 500 show. Anyway, thanks for listening. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. Question of the day is, what's the most iconic racing event that you should attend in person? The most iconic racing event that you should attend in person. Kentucky Derby, Indy 500, Daytona 500. And the Kentucky Derby winning hands down. Mike Henriksen's on tonight. Legendary South Dakota sports broadcaster. Mike, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. Thanks so much. Live and local from border to border. You're killing it.
Look at that.
I'm proud of you.
That's a tagline. That's a tagline. Live and local from border to border. I mean, that's big time. You must have done this. I understand. I have a question.
Can I weigh in on the question? By the way,
that's what I'm getting at. I'm going to ask you right away. Most iconic racing event to attend in person is what?
It's got to be Kentucky Derby, and here's why. And I think I speak for a lot of your voters when I say this. It's got alcohol built into it. All right.
That's the ticket. That's the ticket. That is partly the experience. I have heard that. I have never been. Have you been?
I have not. No,
Okay.
I have not had the opportunity to go to any of those, but that would be my first choice. You can't go wrong with any of those. I mean, they're American icons, so certainly you're fine. But yes, my first choice would be Kentucky Derby.
Okay, I'm a horse racing fan, so that's the way I lean. But Matt Kearney's made his thoughts known, and he's a passionate Indy 500 fan, so he'll be locked in on Sunday. Let me get to this. I just had Brandon Colpitts on my show, Rapid City Central football coach. He's a young guy.
Yeah.
He came from Yankton. I thought he knew his stuff. I thought he brought a lot of commitment and dedication and passion, and he did. I talked to people at Rapid City Central, parents in the program, and they gave me good feedback on that, and that's a good sign. So he's done that the last 2 years. Central's a tough program. They've lost forever. He got him going a little bit, at least competitive in some games. He's stepping down as head coach. He's got a big opportunity with Rydell, State of South Dakota, Rydell. So he's going to take that. He can't be the head coach anymore. So I ask you, he's got a new opportunity, Mike, so it's maybe not related, but I ask you, how tough is it today to be a head coach in high school sports?
Well, first of all, I was really, sad when I saw that news come out. As a matter of fact, it was Matt's tweet that informed me yesterday, because of the fact that turnover at Central has been so high. And you feel bad for the kids from that standpoint, too. If you're going through, a bunch of different head coaches, it's tough to establish that program. As for being a coach, it's tougher now than ever because everyone who is playing today, all of their parents have been educated, quote unquote, I'm giving air quotes on that, by ESPN and all the other networks, so that we are now all experts. My dad was very comfortable with the fact, and again, remember, I'm 66 years old, so we're going back in history. My dad was very comfortable. He coached Little League Baseball because it was the right thing to do. But other than that, he didn't say boo about sports because he just trusted the coach to know more than he does. Now we have so many people who think they know better than the coach ever will. Bless you. That was my wife, by the way.
Nice effort. I heard that.
You heard that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, but we've got so many folks who think they're a little ambient sound there for you. Another, trick of the trade. But we've got so many people that are experts. It's, and plus social media. You don't have to go meet with the coach anymore. You can just post your opinion on Facebook or Twitter or Insta or whatever the case may be, and all of a sudden it's an issue, and you never even, had the guts to go talk to the coach himself or herself in the first place. So, yes, it's worlds tougher now than it has ever been.
Coach Colpitts told me, I asked him, I said, do people know about the time commitment? I said, did you know about the time commitment? And he laughed. He said, I thought I did as an assistant down there at Yankton. He just said it's just a different thing, and people maybe don't need to know that or expect to know that, but he said it's a huge commitment. Do we have unrealistic expectations of coaches these days?
Yeah, to a certain degree, but at the same time, I also can remember when coaches were lobbying to have more time with the kids. Again, it wasn't that long ago where you weren't going to team camps for every sport in the summertime. You weren't, having these, fall workouts. You weren't doing year-round workouts. My son graduated in 2000. He finally got what they called an acceleration program back then, his junior year. And even then it was, just a couple of days a week, but it took up time. Well, now, with the technology we've got, with the facilities we've got, et cetera, kids are working at it year-round. And so consequently, they aren't getting a break, but also coaches aren't getting a break either. So part of that the industry brought on themselves. But yes, it's real easy. We're not going to see Larry Luchins. We're not going to see Chuck Welke. We're not going to see, Marv McCune. All of those guys who, were doing it 40, 45 years. I just don't think that we're going to see that anymore because of the pressures, because of family, because of the time commitment that it takes.
Mike Henriksen on tonight, South Dakota sports broadcaster. He's on Twitter at Mike Henriksen and, of course, on Calling All Sports as he still does that show here on Fox Sports Radio. Let me ask you, I think about it, you said we're not going to see some of these legendary, long-term coaches now. How important is it for coaches to be educators? Coach Colpitts has a professional opportunity. That's the main reason he's out. Does educators and coaches go hand in hand? Is that the play today to try and keep these coaches in?
Well, it's part of it, Nate, but I also know that in the small towns, it's tough to have a position. It's not, and I'll pick a random town. Midland probably isn't adding positions. So you have to have, somebody leave a job and then kind of shift around to, and by the way, can you coach? And so consequently, with those positions shrinking, you have to probably find somebody in the community to do it. And the one thing I remember, Kim Nelson, who's the winningest football coach in South Dakota history, one of the things he told me was he kept coaching after he got out of the classroom. But once he got out of the classroom, he said, I didn't feel like I knew my players as well, and I wasn't, interacting with them in the hallway. I wasn't, keeping up on how they were doing with grades, et cetera. So, there's pros and cons to both sides, but I just think we're seeing more and more non-certified, for lack of a better phrase, non-educators that are doing coaches. And don't get me wrong, some of them do a great job, but I think we're moving farther away from that model than we ever have been.
Yeah, it's interesting, and sometimes that's the way to go because some of the educators aren't getting into the coaching as much either. It's interesting. Hey, let me jump to this. State baseball,
Sure.
State high school baseball is this weekend. It's always a great weekend. Rapid City Stevens is in it. State high school baseball. I've talked with you about the last couple of years. You think the high school baseball scenario is just the way we need it now because they're still going to talk about sanctioning. They're going to send out a survey to schools to see what they think.
Yeah, I am definitely coming down on the side of not sanctioning it, and I'll give you a prime example. My grandsons play high school baseball for Centerville High School. This year they were able to play on several Sunday afternoons, getting in 2 games on some Sundays. They were able to play on Wednesday nights. If you take that away, because it's sanctioned, sanctioned activities can't take place on Wednesday night because it's church night or on Sunday. So consequently, you lose an awful lot of flexibility with your schedule because I know kids this time of year that are playing high school baseball, that are doing track, and are playing golf in some of the small towns. So they're doing 3. So you really, really need to have that flexibility for one of those sports to keep it viable. And like I say, at the big schools, that's not an issue. I understand that. But for the small schools, I think the group now that's running high school baseball in the state of South Dakota is doing a great job, and I think the only thing I would change is I would start at May 15th, and I'd end it by July 15th, and I really don't care about the Legion or the Teener program anymore because 90% of all programs are being run by the same people that run the high school programs. I know that's sacrilege to say on a Rapid City radio station, and I also understand Rapid City is not the rest of the state when it comes to Legion baseball, but that's my opinion for the rest of the state.
I got you. State high school baseball this weekend. Mike Henriksen in tonight, South Dakota sports broadcaster, and still on Calling All Sports. Mike, good to have you, man. Good to talk to you. Thanks a lot.
Nate, it is always a pleasure. Take care. Continued success.
Appreciate you coming on. Mike Henriksen longtime friend and longtime South Dakota sports broadcaster here on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Who's hot and who's not? I've got it next. What did we think of the numbers that just came out from the weekend of a big sports event? We'll get to that coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Get the last roof you'll ever need with steel roofing from Menards. Steel roofing is durable, offering your home the best protection from wind, hail, and fire. Choose from 29 stylish colors that not only enhance the appearance of your home, but will reduce cooling costs and keep your home more comfortable all summer long. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
If you're grilling this weekend, be sure to have plenty of artisan hearth buns and rolls on hand. Fancy equipment and secret sauces are great, but once you've mastered the basics, it's all about the bun. Your perfectly grilled burgers and hot dogs deserve the best, and with several varieties to choose from, including Wisconsin brat buns, gourmet brioche, French, and onion rolls, the bakers of Artisan Hearth have the buns and rolls your family will love. Artisan Hearth, locally baked, delivered fresh daily.
The hottest wins are at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resorts. Blaze into big wins with over $80,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs, including your chance to drive off in a 2025 Chevy Trailblazer. Win $300 prize packages every Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. to midnight, plus a $1,000 prize package at midnight. So qualify today and save the date for the grand prize drawing on Saturday, July 19th. Big wins all summer long at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort in Deadwood. How will your night play out?
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson Auction Company. On today's online-only auction, we are selling items for the Paul Parker Estate, several comic books, sports cards, die-cast cars, several Barbie and Ken Harley-Davidson collector dolls, John Deere model trains new in the box, jewelry, knives, collectibles. Also selling a 2010 Audi A4 four-door car, a 1990 Buick Riata convertible, and a 1998 Chevy C25 regular cab four-wheel drive pickup. Auction begins to close at 6 p.m. To bid and buy, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows level off around 39. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for showers again tomorrow, 63. Lows dip down to about 38. Tomorrow night, mainly clear. Seasonal temps Thursday and Friday with the highs from the mid-60s to the upper 60s. Slight chance for storms Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 49.
Looking for a new sport utility? Looking for one that's easy on the gas bill? We have them at Danny Manhole Rapid Chevrolet. Nearly 50 to choose from, most with the exclusive Danny Manhole discount, including 16 all-new 2025 Equinoxes, plus Traverse, Tahoe, Suburban, Trailblazer, and Trax. Finance terms to fit every budget. Rates as low as 2.9% APR. See us at Danny Manhole Rapid Chevrolet or DannyManholeRapidChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. Length of finance contract is limited on select models with qualified credit. Expires 6/2/25.
Great news. I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
Hey, thanks for listening tonight. Who's Hot and Who's Not, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet, your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch tonight. Who's Hot and Who's Not on the Nate Brown Show. Here we go with Who's Hot. How about the ratings from the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese game the other day, Saturday? 2.7 million viewers on average. That's the largest regular season WNBA game since 2000. It's the second largest average audience ever in the WNBA. It's already starting. The Caitlin Clark Angel Reese season got it going. I like it. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not tonight, to see the Browns sign Shedeur Sanders. I like it. 4 years, $4 million. Give me a break. He made $6 million at CU on NIL. He made $6 million there. That's the raw deal for Sanders. He's going to be the best quarterback getting paid $1 million a year. Book it. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show, the podcast going up right now.
I started doing it once in a while, just for fun and the